Well, hello. This is Queen Renee coming at you guys with a new channel. So, this is my new channel and it's called Queen Speaks. And so, with on this channel here, I just want to give you guys a little bit of rundown of what this channel is going to consist of. So, within this on this channel, I am going to actually do give my thoughts on certain um, subjects, and it is a no holds barred. Like I pretty much am just gonna say how I feel about things. Um, so if you like, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Now, first off, I do want to give um, a couple of disclaimers. The first thing is I want to read the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances is made for fair use. For copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowances is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right, so that with that out of the way, I have one more little disclaimer that I kind of want to go over here. This particular video is actually about the strange bedfellows of the Nation of Islam and Scientology. Now, I will say, I want to preface this by saying that I really, honestly, I enjoy listening to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad when he makes speeches and things like that. I am not with the Nation of Islam in any type of way. I am not associated with truly any um, Christian or religious organization. I guess that's what I want to say. Um, I I do believe in God. I do have a relationship with God, but I don't subscribe to organized religion. After years of being involved in the church, actually being pretty much, well, not born, but raised pretty much from the age of, I want to say about 5 until um until I got grown until 19, and then I stopped going to church, and then I went back for a few years and was really deeply rooted in the church, and at some point just decided that that wasn't for me, and just organized religion was not something that I would want to subscribe to anymore. So, but um, as far as Louis Farrakhan goes, I really truly enjoy watching him speak. I enjoy listening to him speak. Um, I'm trying to, while I'm looking down, guys, I do apologize, but I'm trying to queue up this video here while I'm talking to you all, because this particular video that I actually watched the other day kind of blew my mind. I just was just really, taken aback by the fact that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad would allow such an entity as the Church of Scientology to infiltrate the mosques and to associate himself with such an organization. And it just kind of threw me off, because for the simple fact that, first of all, when we listen to him speak as far as being involved with, let's just keep it real, with the white people, and the way that he always wants to say that we should take care of our own, we should take care of ourselves, which I agree with. And also how, we don't need them to lead us to anything or lead us anywhere. And the fact of the fact that he's really kind of just really handed the parishioners over to the Church of Scientology. As we go through, I'm gonna share a couple of snippets in this video of a couple of things in there where we truly have the receipts that he actually is bringing Dianetics and this whole Scientology mind frame into the nation. And I can't really believe that this is going on, but it is. So let me do a little bit of queuing up. So Dianetics, for anyone that doesn't know what the Church of Scientology is, I'm going to try to break it down to you guys just a little in a quick type of I'm just going to try to break it down to you guys a little bit. So the Church of Scientology is this organization where you actually pay for quote unquote enlightenment. So you go and you have what's called this stress test taken, and it's supposedly measuring your stress levels, your level of enlightenment. I suppose that's the best way I can describe it. And once you've taken the stress test with these little things that you hold in your hand, that's supposed to be these electrodes that move a needle and what have you. It After all of that, then they try to rope you in. They start to string you along to get you into get you to take courses. Now, the courses, they try to say that with these courses you will be, quote unquote, you can become clear, which means that your mind is clear and you'll be able to do all these magnificent things, uh, get your finances in order, get your marriage in order, be able to learn how to better raise your children, and things of that nature. Just, pretty much it starts out as kind of a self help type of situation. And so people buy into it, of course, and they start going through these chapters, these, and what Scientology calls them are bridges. So they go through these bridges and they start out low. They start out, some are, you may be $50, $100 to take a course, but they continue to coerce you into purchasing more courses and purchasing um, book packages and things of that nature. One Once you get to over the first couple of little tidbit courses that they offer when you first walk in, they'll tell you, oh, you need to go through these bridges, you need to go higher, you need to go clearer, and all of this. And just about every course that you take is going to take you somewhere along the lines of 24 hours, is what they say. 24 hours of study and um, auditing type stuff. They call it auditing when they ask you these questions and they put you on this so-called machine that measures your clearness. One course can cost you 10 grand for one course on the bottom level. And there are multiple levels throughout this thing. In order to become completely clear, which is to get to the 8th tier, I believe that's what it's called. And I may be wrong on the name of it, but it's like, it's the 8th, the highest thing you can get to. When you get to that, you have spent approximately $350,000 to become, quote unquote, clear. Now, this $350,000 that you've spent to become clear, that's not all you've spent over your time of trying to accomplish this, because throughout, excuse me, y'all, throughout, I just got off work, so I'm sorry. Throughout the course of trying to become clear, you've purchased more things. They want you to donate to this, that, and the third. They want you to, it's always about getting more money out of you. So this is what Scientology is. How it is construed as a church, because you're actually going in here, and it's a, like I said, it's deemed a church. So it has a 501c. So they are tax exempt, quote unquote nonprofit, but they sell services for profit. if that makes sense. So everything that they do, they sell for profit, such as your book packages um and your courses and things that you take in order to the advance through the system. So I've been I've been fascinated. I'm I'm weird. I have a fascination with cults. Um, because anytime I see a documentary on a cult, I have to watch it because I am just so fascinated with how someone allows themselves to be so taken advantage of and so misused in so many different ways by someone claiming to be a religious organization. And I simply can't wrap my mind around how one continues to constitute the things that happen in these particular organizations as being correct or right or even moral sometimes. But people find themselves entrapped in a cult, and the Church of Scientology in itself is a cult. I mean, there's no way around it. It is what it is because it's about getting people's money and stockpiling people's money um, on all avenues. So anyway, I digress on that. Get back to the point of this video. So as I stated, I watched the documentary and it came up with the fact that the Nation of Islam was somehow involved with the Church of Scientology. Now, first of all, we all know Muslims, Church of the Nation of Islam is about black people and black power type of energy, like, and all of a sudden now you are allowing um, the Church of Scientology to infiltrate. I don't get that, and I don't understand that. I'm going to play. Um, I'm gonna cue this video, and I'm gonna play some snippets of this video for you guys to watch, and then I'll give you my thoughts on them. So hold on just a second, guys. Okay, y'all. So I got the first part that I want you guys to take a look at. So first off, it says in 2010, Farrakhan began promoting the benefits of L. Ron Hubbard's Dianetics. So I'm going to play this.
I found a tool that I know can help us. And I thank God for Mr. L. Ron Hubbard. And I thank God for his research and teaching. They are such strange bedfellows because Scientology believes that all other faiths, all other religions are worthless. The only valuable religion on earth is Scientology. And since its inception, Scientology has been traditionally white. If you look back at historical photos of the early Scientology organizations, they are exclusively white. Isaac Hayes, who was perhaps the only prominent black Scientology celebrity, went to David Miscavige, the leader of Scientology, and said, why are there no organizations being created in black communities? David Miscavige became convinced that the way to get into the black community was through the Nation of Islam, and that he would use celebrities of Scientology in order to reach out to the Nation of Islam. That's where Leah Remini came in.
I was approached by Scientology.
Okay, so let's talk about that real quick. So L. Ron Hubbard, for those who don't know, he was a famous science fiction author. He had many books, science fiction books that he had written. He, at some point, became this leader of this religion called Scientology. When he was alive, he wrote several things that bylaws and rules to this church, and he wrote a book called Dianetics, which was very popular, a best-selling book that he wrote that actually started. It's the main book when you start Scientology. You have to read Dianetics, because that is actually primarily what everything is based on, the beliefs in this particular book. But that is not to say that there are not multiple books that need to be read. That's just the first one that they really want you to read, because apparently it's the book that gets you started and makes you understand what the vision is of this particular quote unquote church. The fact that Scientology has been and is still primarily a white based religion that decided the best way to bring black people in order to get more money, was to go through the Nation of Islam. What they did is they actually would go to the famous people in the organization and ask them to sponsor people from the nation in order to take these courses. So they would, so Leah Remini, who is quote unquote an enemy of Scientology, she used to be a Scientologist, from when she was young. And she actually disconnected from the church and she left. And she was one that was recruited to sponsor someone from the nation. Now I'm going to cue this up and let you guys hear this. All right, so now we're going to listen to a former I don't Nation of Islam um person who is who they're interviewing here, and he's going to kind of go over the basic principles of being a Muslim. So,
Basic teachings.
The basic teachings are a lot of self-pride, a lot of doing for self, being self-sufficient, um, family. They deal with the tenets of the Quran. It's in a specified way because the situation that we went through in America is different than anyone else. So it's customized for black people going through the vestiges that we had to go through, which were slavery and the effects of that slavery.
Now, forgive me. You got to school us. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Right.
When you're talking about teaching people to be independent from
Independent from the dependency on the Caucasian. You know, as black people, we have to make sure that we're able to build our own institutions, to have pride in ourselves, and not to be dependent on anyone else.
If I walked into a Nation of Islam mosque, or I assume that they're called mosques,
Yes.
and I said, hey, guys, I want to join up, what would happen?
Caucasian people are not allowed into the temple or into the mosque. If we had a general meeting, like maybe we were doing something at a convention center.
okay, y'all. So y'all heard that, right? White people aren't even allowed into a mosque. So therefore, you as a white person, you can't even go there and walk in and say, "Hey, I just want to come in and, listen to your teachings, and um I would like to pray with you guys," or um none of that, because they're not allowed in the mosque. So keep that in mind. We're going to continue.
Caucasians are able to attend, but not at the actual spiritual meetings.
Okay, you just blew my mind. Like, the idea that Scientology and the Nation of Islam are coming together, and as a white person, you're not allowed to even enter a Nation of Islam mosque or temple. This is like, I had no idea.
And now they do have Caucasians that do come into the mosque in order to teach Scientology. So that is an exception that they make, as well as they deal with, they say that Scientology gives them the clearance in order to have access. So that is being taught.
When was the first time you heard of Scientology infiltrating the Nation of Islam?
We started to see that buildings were being made, that the Nation of Islam were having secret meetings with Scientology that the public had no idea about. It started going a different direction than the core tenets of what the Nation of Islam had originally represented. They started to really introduce something which was called the self-improvement study guides.
Ishmael, you know that in Scientology, those things are called self-improvement courses. And they are the introductory courses that everybody takes in order to come into Scientology. They consist of these innocuous sounding sort of secular things that, like, improve your life in this area, do better with your finances, do better with raising your children, do better with your marriage. And they don't have the flavor of Scientology. They have the flavor of self-help, just like Dianetics does. And it is the slippery slope that results in you ultimately realizing that all answers to everything come from L. Ron Hubbard.
And that's what we're finding out on our side. We're finding out from our community that this transitional doctrine was something easing us into something else, not even knowing that almost a mirror image was being done in the Church of Scientology.
So what was the breaking point for you?
The breaking point for me was when it started going that direction with the self-improvement study guides. Once I saw that it started feeling very cult-like to me. It started to be the leader said this and the leader said that. And when you can't critically think, and when you're actually being almost penalized for thinking for yourself, that's a cult to me. And it's not even just by the nation. You know, there are churches that are being brought into this. There are churches that get the pitch. You know, black churches getting the pitch of come in and try Dianetics for yourself. You know, so it was broader than just the Nation of Islam. And then we supplied the information proving that L. Ron Hubbard said that there is no Christ. when him dealing with Christianity, he says that there is no Christ.
That's a fact.
That's a fact that's
Yes.
taught in
But
Scientology.
you know when you learn
Okay, y'all. So, now, anyone that has ever dealt or anybody that knows about the Nation of Islam, they believe in Allah. That Allah is the creator, is the God, what have you. They believe that Jesus Christ existed, but that he was not the Son of Man. He wasn't Son of God. He was a prophet, is what the nation believes. Also, as we just heard, he said specifically that the Christian churches are being infiltrated as well. They're being fed the pitch as well from Scientologists that they need to jump on the bandwagon as far as Dianetics is concerned. But you also heard him just say that according to L. Ron Hubbard, there is no Christ. And that is fact. That man said it, and it's on film. And the receipts are here, and I'm about to show y'all. So, how, if you are a religious entity, you're the nation, you're a Christian church, how are you following a man or thinking that there's this white man that had all the answers to what we need in order to be spiritually enlightened or clear? And this man is plainly saying there's no Christ. So y'all hold on. I'm gonna get this queued up here and show you where he said that.
Hubbard said that there is no Christ. When him dealing with Christianity, he says that there is no Christ.
that's a fact.
That's a fact that's
Yes.
taught in
But
Scientology.
you know when you learn that? When you're $300,000 in.
The man on the cross. There was no Christ. But the man on the cross is shown as every man. So, of course, each person seeing a crucified man has an immediate feeling of sympathy for this man.
Now you guys can't really read that. Those are just some propaganda things that he said. As a particular matter, Scientologists are expected to become fully devoted to Scientology to the exclusion of other faiths. They are required to look only to Scientology scripture for the answer to a fundamental question of their existence and seek enlightenment only from Scientologists. So he just plainly said there is no Christ. So how do these religious entities justify the fact that they're bringing this man's teachings into the church? Can somebody make sense? You can't, because it doesn't.
They're walking into your church telling you to join up with Scientology and just try this Dianetics. But the end game is they're going to tell you once you go up the bridge that there is no Christ. That's what they're going to tell you.
Yeah, and beyond even that, Ishmael, is there's no Allah. There is no religious leader who has ever existed that was anything other than a thing designed to control people.
Hubbard's.
That is the actual teaching
Of L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard.
Right.
That they are things that were implanted in your mind. They're called implants, and that they are designed to control the population. All religion is that, except Scientology.
Religion is always different than truth. It has to be, because the only way you can control people is to lie to them. You can write that down in a book with very big letters. The only way you can control anybody is to lie with them. As I use the word religion, it has nothing to do with God.
They're newborns to the lingo, to what to expect. So just as clueless as you would be, and you said, I don't know anything about the Nation of Islam, they're just as clueless as what to expect through Scientology. So when we tell them, look, if you think that this is not going to lead you to being a Scientologist, you're fooling yourself. You're going to give up whatever you profess as a religion, and you're going to be a cult member worshiping L. Ron Hubbard. And sure enough, they now call him the Honorable LRH. They now meet in the Scientology buildings. They now are being bestowed with the Scientology awards. And within the Nation of Islam is now a celebrated thing that the first female has gone clear recently. And then in 2015, the first male went clear. So these are supposed to be pivotal points. But the reality of that is that you really just bought into the illusion, and the other people are going to be following you into nothingness.
And it goes against everything the Nation of Islam is supposed to stand for. You know, it's separating out from, we're
It's being
independent from,
independent, correct.
we're responsible for our own lives, and we have the power to change. You're doing exactly the opposite of what what the teachings are supposed to.
Okay, so once again, we see that they are feeding into the lies, and they're supposed to be smarter than that. I would have ventured to say. I'm hard pressed to understand how this is truly happening here. And it's been going on since 2010. It is now 2020. So over 10 years almost. And nobody said anything. This is the first I've ever heard of this. So we're going to keep going, and I'm going to give some, I'm going to queue up another part of this video I want you guys to see. So they're about to tell us what's in it for the nation, because we all know why Scientology wants a piece of the nation, why they would be interested in having people from the nation to join Scientology. Because you got to think, the Nation of Islam has millions of parishioners. Muslim people. I mean, there's a multitude of them. And they all come with a bag. They, not a bag, but they all come with an opportunity for Scientology to make a bag off these people. So we know what they're getting out of it. So now let's listen at what the Nation of Islam is getting out of this.
The nation. Now, we get why Scientology is interested in the nation, but what's in it for the nation?
There's a policy within Scientology that once you become staff, you get financial reward for bringing in people.
It's not just people who are on staff. Anybody that brings someone into Scientology and gets them to pay money gets 10% of everything they pay.
Everything.
Wow.
Okay, y'all, it says the org promptly pays the field staff member 10% of the amount received for the processing services and 15% of the amount received for training. So think about that, y'all. If you every time you purchase something, somebody is making a 10% profit. Every time you take a training, somebody's making a 15% profit. So if you sign these people up to do all these things and buy these things, you're getting a cut of the money. Let's see here.
And the dynamics of what takes place between this whole relationship between the Nation of Islam and the Church of Scientology, one is definitely on the upper hand and one is definitely on the lower hand, because we're dealing with the dynamics of income and power and what that money can do. In 2011, there were people that were sponsoring Nation of Islam people. We didn't know who they were, but somebody was paying to make sure that they could enter these courses and to get deeper into this, and we couldn't figure it out.
They were coming to people like me, and they were saying, hey, we want you guys to sponsor Nation of Islam members to come in and do these seminars. And I was like, I have never heard of this.
Oh, nothing's for free in Scientology. Scientology goes, I want you to give a loan to this person so they can pay. That happens often.
Or Leah, take out a loan to pay for your bridge, your mother's bridge, your kid's bridge, all in advance. But never have I been asked in all my years in Scientology to sponsor someone I don't know, right? To pay for Scientology. And my thing is, why I am interested in it is because I was helping this marriage, in a way, of the nation, not knowing anything about the Nation of Islam, just really literally going, yes, why do we not have black people here? Where's all the Latinos? Where's all the Asians? Where's any?
Okay, so you see, they were actually just like I said, they were recruiting the stars to sponsor Nation of Islam people in order to take courses. So she's gonna explain who she sponsored. And his name is Tony Muhammad, and he is higher up in the nation. So let's go ahead and listen at that. Let me get this here.
Well, at the Tony Muhammad.
Okay.
Where are we in the communities? Well, at the time, I was like, okay, whatever I gotta do. They asked me to sponsor Tony Muhammad.
Okay. He's definitely one of the key members of the Nation of Islam, basically the West Coast regional minister of the Nation of Islam, and he was one of the key people that brought in this influx of Nation of Islam members.
Right.
If we go on the Scientology website, we see Tony Muhammad right there prominently.
I have become a better Muslim as a result of my relationship to the Church of Scientology. The world should be grateful that in our lifetime, along came a being known as Mr. L. Ron Hubbard. We say that when a man comes along like that, his name should be mentioned right along with the names of the saints. And we are thankful to Almighty God that a human being like Mr. Hubbard came this way.
What did he win recently?
The IS Freedom Medal, the
Freedom
highest
Medal.
award that Scientology dishes out. Like, wow. Top.
So we have this prominent Muslim leader, Tony Muhammad, singing the praises of L. Ron Hubbard, who in turn, once again, was a science fiction writer. That's what he was. That's what he did. Who wrote this science fiction religion? Hence the Church of Scientology, because he was a science fiction writer, right? This is someone that, I mean, back in the 70s, I believe it was 70s, FBI raided the Church of Scientology and found all types of things and reports on people, and even L. Ron Hubbard's wife was arrested and put on trial for some things by the FBI. So they weren't so forthright. There's been allegations of abuse, and I will say again, I said allegations, of abuse of adults, like being beat and held captive and all sorts of things. There's been alleged sexual abuse by people of minors, and in the church, in the Sea Org. There is a, they have what's called, they call it the Sea Org, and it's kind of like being in the Navy, according to what I've seen. But they have children as young as 7, 8 years old that are Sea Org members, that their parents have turned them completely over to the Sea Organization. They therefore take them and put them into dorms when they are allowed to sleep. They work like 12 hour days every day, 7 days a week. They allegedly are not fed well. They have really no adult supervision. A lot of the times they're just kind of told what they have to do, and then they're left to do what they're supposed to do. If they don't do what they're supposed to do, then they are punished. Things of that nature. So, I say all of that to say, why would someone, why not someone, why would the Honorable Elijah Muhammad buy in to such rubbish? I am just so flabbergasted by that. That just every time I think about it, it throws me off, because I can't believe it. I'm gonna queue up something else, and then I'll play it for you, and we're gonna wrap this up here in a minute.
That you are, because Tony Muhammad used to be the guy that was out in the neighborhoods trying to help.
It's bigger than just the Nation of Islam. We already are on the lowest of the economic scales. We already are being afflicted by things that we can't control, like injustice and poverty. We're already facing these type of things every single day. The last thing we need is a false savior being pushed down our throat. L. Ron Hubbard is not an angelic figure. He's not a saint, and we cannot waste time chasing something that's fiction. At the end of the day, our community has to realize who they're turning over their minds to. This is mind control that's being fed to them, and it's all we're trying to prevent, the breakup and the harming of families.
So, the fact that they're pushing the narrative that L. Ron Hubbard is this great man is the most baffling thing I've I've heard in a very, very long time. Um, I'm gonna keep saying it. The man was a science fiction writer. Excuse me, guys. Um, no more, no less. That's what he was. So of course he's going to. This religion is this craziness that he's writing. And the messed up thing about it, guys, if you've never watched anything on Scientology, then you don't really know. Um, when people find out what they've sown all their money into, the majority of them just, I don't know that, I think the majority stay because a lot of them never make it to the tier 8. Um, but when you do, apparently it's like this bull crap. It's like this bullshit ass paper that you receive, and it's like some handwritten, it's copies of a handwritten note from L. Ron Hubbard telling you that everything you just went through on the bridge to get to clear was bullshit. That everything they were clearing your mind and clearing you of, saying that these were the things that were holding you back that weren't you. He says on tier 8, he tells you that all along while you were clearing yourself, that person that you started with at the beginning was always you. When you start the course, he's telling you these things inside you that need to be cleared out, they're not of you. They're of the Thetans, and apparently these Thetans are inside of us. And we're just pretty much meat suits that the Thetans wear. And until they become clear, they don't understand what they are, or we don't understand what they are. And we have to be clear in order to become the real us, which is the Thetans, and that we, all along through the whole shenanigans, they tell us that we've lived before and we're going to live again, and we just keep coming back and living this life over and over again. It's some real strange ass shit. And people are buying this shit hook, line, and freaking sinker. And it's mind boggling. When I watched this show, I started watching this, and I already watched quite a few other documentaries before on Scientology, but this is on Netflix. It's Leah Remini, and I'll give you guys the name of the show. I'll link it down in the description of what the name of this show is. and it's like it's right now it's 3 seasons worth of this show. But this is the most one. This is the one that most captured me because I'm black, and I really admire. I really like Louis Farrakhan. And some of his talking points, I really do, because he's not afraid to go after men or women when you're wrong, and he gonna tell you. And I like that about him. So anyway, I'm gonna find a couple more things, and then, like I said, we're gonna end this show in just a minute here. So we're gonna listen to another guy that came on, Hector. Um, that was that's Nation of Islam as well, and he's just gonna kind of give some of his thoughts on things that transpired.
2011, I was approached by some national officials from Chicago in regards to helping bringing in Latino members into the Nation of Islam. In the midst of the conversation, they asked me what I thought about Dianetics, and at the time, I didn't know anything about Dianetics. I pretty much answered, I really don't know. So at that point, I did express some my dissent as to what I saw, what I found was contradictory, but it was pretty much played off that I need to study more. I don't understand. You need to pray more. You need to study more to understand the direction that our leader, Minister Louis Farrakhan, is taking us to.
And who's telling you that?
That's coming from national officials.
What happens then? Because in Scientology, once you start speaking out, you're then vilified. That started to happen within your group.
Yes, I was singled out for that specific purpose. 2014, there's a group in the mosque. They call themselves the Lions Out the Cage. They had a radio blog, and in one of the shows, they spent 15 minutes on myself. In the show, they said that I stole from Farrakhan, from Mr. Farrakhan. They said that I still eat pork and that I commit indecent sex acts on my wife. And I thought it was strange because, for one, I didn't know who these brothers were personally, and I don't know why they were targeting me specifically on this radio blog, which was being heard throughout the whole Nation of Islam at that. So I called them and I just asked them, what's going on? Why are you singling me out? Yeah, I said it. So what? We don't care. That was pretty much the answer.
And this was unusual for you. This
was totally blindside.
Right.
Then shortly thereafter, a sister in the nation reached out to me and asked me, did you call for the assassination of Minister Farrakhan? I was like, what? So she showed me the post where a brother put on his Facebook page that I specifically called for the assassination of Minister Farrakhan. And I thought that was just crazy. It was like, why? What did I do? I didn't, I've done nothing to anybody.
This to me makes sense. Like, as soon as Scientology comes in on the scene, they're attacking their most loyal and dedicated members.
For questioning Scientology.
Right.
In Scientology, the minute you question Scientology, you become labeled an enemy. You are considered to be something to be destroyed. You're going to get smeared. So fascinating to hear how quickly this technology
Has
permeated the Nation of Islam. Is there something in the Nation of Islam that tells you to do this?
Yes, there's been a command that came from a member of Minister Farrakhan's personal staff. He said that if anyone is critical of Minister Farrakhan, to attack them like a hornet's nest.
Wow.
And this attack like a hornet, this is a new concept that didn't exist before the engagement with Scientology.
This is very, very, very new.
Yeah, it was only very recent.
Even in the mosque beforehand, we always implored what they call the atonement process. Even if I offended you, we sat down as brothers and sisters and we talked about why I offended you. Hey brother, what you said to me offended me. Can you explain why you said that?
Not trash you on a podcast.
No, not at all. No,
Exactly.
we always said that. That's why I went ahead and called them, because that's what we do. We reach out and we talk to each other. Whereas whereas after the Scientology infiltration, if you disagreed, you got blocked, you got deleted, they stopped talking to you. Very similar to as they would in the Church of Scientology.
Right.
You're starting to be labeled an enemy. You're told, hey, you better stop talking about Scientology. You're going to get put out the mosque. Almost as if Dianetics is the law now of Nation Islam. In the Nation Islam, we have what's called a restrictive law. Restrictive law, no fornicating, no lying, no stealing, pretty much kind of like the Ten Commandments, if you would, to better explain it. And if you violate those, there's a certain time period. If you're found guilty in front of the leadership of the mosque, that you're getting time out of the mosque for violating those restrictive laws. So there's a due process, if you would. But now, once you start talking about Scientology negatively, you're automatically cast out. All that is very odd.
Not to us.
Especially in our culture, Asian culture.
Yeah, see, for us,
It is.
this is every day for us. Scientology is the antithesis of bonding and having loyalty and having true faith in God, in any God other than Scientology. There is no faith. There is no brotherhood
Yes.
in Scientology or sisterhood. There is none of that. So we can all agree with that. And that is going to be attacked. That will go away, as you have seen so quickly, even within your questioning your own brothers and sisters, how quickly they turned on you. That is a great example of the technology of Scientology.
All right, y'all. So the episode still's got like another 15 minutes or so. But anyway, I am going to end this right now. I just wanted to share that with you all. And if you made it this far in my video, I hope that you will like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'm hoping to be able to upload videos at least once or twice a week, if not more, once we get into the swing of things. But I do have another channel that I post on as well. Anyway, and it's just Queen Renee. The Queen Renee Show is my other channel. So if you like, come on over there and check me out as well. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you guys got some insight and enjoyed it. And I will continue to try to upload more and give my commentary on things. I thought this was very fascinating. So anyway, like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for watching my video. Have a good one.